Hey, welcome everybody to game number 34 of our 1979 replay, New York Mets replay. It's the Cardinals visiting Shea Stadium. It's Pete Vukovich on the mound for the Cards against Mike Scott for the Mets. Pete Vukovich was 15-10 with a 3.59 ERA, and he will be facing Mike Scott, who was 1-3 with a 5.33 ERA. He goes on to become a much better pitcher when he gets to Houston. We're at Shea Stadium, 1979. Now, Shea Stadium is a little bit more friendly to left-handers than it is to right-handers. At 1-46 for left-handed batters in the wheelhouse, and 1-33 for right-handed batters. So right-handed batters have a little bit more of a tough time getting that ball over the fence at Shea. And we're right about to start up. Let me go over the lineup for the Cards real quick and show you the outfield defense for the Mets. This is, you're looking at an iPad, 10-inch iPad with iScore set up for the game. The defense for the Mets is going to be Henderson in left, Mazzilli in center, Youngblood in right, Hebner at third, Taveras at short, Flynn at second, Willie Montanez at first, John Stearns behind the plate, and on the mound is Mike Scott. Now, let's get this to stop. And the lineup for the Cards: Lou Brock leading off in left field, Ken Oberkfell, second baseman, batting second, Keith Hernandez batting third, playing first base, Ted Simmons, the catcher, in the cleanup spot, Dane Org, right field, Tony Scott, center field, Ken Reitz, third baseman, batting seventh. Batting eighth is Mike Phillips, and ninth is Pete Vukovich. So we're right about to start. Here goes our first roll. We're using Payoff pitch, and it's a 24. It's a wheelhouse 24 on Henderson, and that's going to be line base hit to left. Oh, I'm sorry. Brock is it's. The Mets have just come off a 14-16 game road trip, so I'm used to having them lead off the game. That's wheelhouse, and it's a 24. 24 is going to be a single for Lou Brock. Brock in at first. He stole 21 bases, not always a threat to steal, but he may steal in this situation. And we rolled an 8. He does not go. So Brock is on at first. Ken Oberkfell, lefty. In play 44. And that's going to be outrange. That's going to be popped up to the left side. Shortstop Frank Taveras. One down. Keith Hernandez. Patient 82. And that's Sky to center. Two down. Lee Mazzilli there. And it's Ted Simmons, switch hitter. Wheelhouse 84. Grounded to short. Taveras flips to Flynn for the force. Side retired. Pete Vukovich is going to face Steve Henderson. Henderson leading off, usually bats lower in the lineup, but there's been a switch. Torres kind of put him in the leadoff spot to see if he can ignite the Mets offense. That's ballpark 20. That's going to be wheelhouse. Wheelhouse 1-13 is a home run. See what happens here. 81. That's way out of range. That's outrange. That's going to be Sky to center. Tony Scott out there. One down. Frankie Taveras now. Tough 89. Grounded to short. Mike Phillips across to Keith Hernandez. Two down. And it's Lee Mazzilli. Switch hitter batting left. It's wheelhouse 30. And wheelhouse 30 is going to be line drive base hit to right. Dane Org feels it, gets it in. Mazzilli's got a 2-out knock. He's on at first. Now Mazzilli may go. Let's see, the catcher is Simmons. Let's see what kind of arm Simmons has. I don't recall that he had a really great arm. He's a 4-arm, so he's not a very good arm at all. And there goes, I believe, Mazzilli's a 5. We rolled a 6, so he does not go. It's going to be Richie Hebner, left-handed third baseman for the Mets. And that's going to be in play 25. It's going to be a grounder up the middle, center field for a hit. And runner's going to advance 1 base, but Mazzilli's going to get the extra base because of his running ability. So single, runner at third. So we got first and third with 2 outs. And it's Willie Montanez. Here's the pitch from Vukovic. That's an 8. That's a tough 55. A tough 55. That's going to be in the out range. It's fly to left. Lou Brock makes the catch. Side retired. After 1, no score. Mike Scott on the hill. Dane Org, lefty, right fielder for the Cards. It's going to be an 8, tough 74. Grounded to short, Taveras. 6-3, put out. Tony Scott, he's a switch hitter batting lefty. That's defense 85. That's going to be out no matter what. It's too high a number. It's going to be a catch by the right fielder, Youngblood, showing off flashing his leather in right field. It's a nice running catch. And it's Ken Reitz, third baseman, patient 58. And that takes us to the out category. Fly ball, right. Out number 3. Bottom of the second. Ballpark 39 for a righty. That's going to be in play. That's an 86. That's going to be out range. Grounded to short, Mike Phillips. Throws out Youngblood. John Stearns. And that's tough 44. Oh, just missed the hit range by 1. Takes us to the out range. Popped up left side, Mike Phillips. 2 down. And it's Doug Flynn. Snake Eyes wheelhouse 61. That's out range. It's going to be grounded to second base. Obergfell. Side retired. Mike Scott of the Mets is going to be facing Mike Phillips. The battle of the Mikes. The pitch from Scott, that's patient. 41, that's going to be a ball driven in the gap. And that's going to go for 2. Phillips into second base standing. Got a hold of one there. I'm going to double check that. It's a 5 patient 41. A patient 41's a double on Mike Phillips' card. Pete Vukovic is going to bunt. Vukovic is a C bunter. C bunter is a sacrifice hit to the pitcher. It's going to be a 1-4. 1-4. Runner to third. So Mike Phillips is on at third. Infield's back for the Mets. They're willing to concede the run for an out. It's going to be Lou Brock. That's a 7 in play 19. An in play 19 is going to be a base hit. RBI single for Brock. And let's try that again. 7 in play 19. In play 19. And Brock, we need to roll. If we roll a 5, he goes. He's on at first, taking his lead. Doesn't get one. Ken Obergfell. And that's a 3. That's a tough 79. It's a fly ball center field, Lee Mazzilli. Back to first goes Brock. Keith Hernandez 0 for 1. That's patient 12. That's going to be a base on balls. Hernandez on with a walk. 2-out walk. First and second. Brock is at second. Hernandez at first. 1-0. Cards lead it. Ted Simmons batted .288 versus righties with 11 home runs. That's an 11. That's defense. A defense 61. Oh, it may be a range hit. It could even be an error, but in the most extreme. It's going to be error shortstop, and I know I don't think our shortstop Taveras is a 1, and he is not. He's a 3. Yeah, so you can see that there. So that's going to be an out. And what kind of an out is it going to be? To shortstop, it's going to be a ground ball out. And Taveras takes it himself, steps on the bag for the 3rd out. That retires the side. It's 1-0 Cards. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Oh no, it's actually, wait a sec. Yep. It's going to be Pete Vukovich facing Mike Scott. Mike Scott is a 1 hitter in play, and that's a 6 is in play, so we're going to look at the in play section. 21, and that's way out of range. Popped up right side. Hernandez puts it away. Now Hernandez is going to become a Met in a few years, and they're going to get to the World Series and win it. 86 team had Hernandez at first base. 9 in play. 53. It's going to be outrange, grounded to 3rd. Ken Reitz guns it to 1st. Gets Henderson by a step. 2 down. Pitch from Vukovich. Sets and deals. Tough 98. That's lifted to left. Lou Brock comes in a few steps and makes the catch. And that retires the side. We go to the top half of the 4th. Mike Scott on the mound for the Mets, facing Dane Org, who grounded out in his first at bat. That's a 10 in play. 48. So he popped up to the left side. Frank Taveras, one down. Tony Scott, he flied out. It's a 56. Oh, that's going to be base hit. Tony Scott. Tony Scott grounds one up the middle and through. Flynn couldn't reach it. And Scott is on at first with a single, and we'll double check that. We rolled an 8. That's tough. 56. It's an upside down. I thought it was 59 there. 56. Tough 56 on Scott's card is a single. And Scott is a threat to steal. He had 47, almost 54 attempts. So he's going to try to run. He's a 6, and we rolled a 7, so he does not go. So there's 1 out. Scott is on at first. Ken Reitz the batter. Ken Reitz batted 236 versus righties. That's a 6. In play 62. In play 62. That's going to be out range. It's going to be a ground ball, second base. We rolled a 6. It's a double play on the pitcher's card and a double play on the, so it's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. 62, no, a 4-6-3, excuse me. 4-6-3 double play, and the Mets are out of the inning. Lee Mazzilli leading off the bottom of the 4th. It's a 1-0 lead for the Cardinals. Let's see if the Mets can get something going. In reality, they lost this game 9-4, I believe. And it's a 3 in play 73. That's going to be an out. Grounded to 2nd. Oberfell throws him out. Richie Hebner, who's 1 for 1. It's a 9. That's in play 18. It's base hit to right for Richie Hebner. So Hebner's 2 for 2. Hebner's not a threat to steal. Willie Montanez. That's ballpark 74. That's in play 34. Let's see what that is. That's going to be an out range. That's going to be popped up to the left side. Reitz in foul territory, makes the catch. 2 down now for the Mets. And it's Joel Youngblood. He's 0 for 1, grounded out. Pitch from Vukovich. In play 37. And that's going to be an out. Popped up again. Ken Reitz. And he makes the catch for the final out of the inning. We go to the bottom of the top of the 5th inning. Pretty good game so far. Pitchers duel here at Shea. 1-0 Cardinals. Mike Scott. Allowed only 4 hits up to this point. That's a 7 in play 54. That's going to be a hit by pitch. Phillips. Phillips is hit. plunked. And we're double checking that. That's an in play. We rolled an in play, and I think I looked at the wrong. Yeah. Lucky we double checked that because that's going to be an out. It's going to be a fly ball to left. Let's redo that. 7 is in play. For some reason, I looked at the patient. So it should have been down here. And that's why when something like that happens, I double check. 54. Say fly ball to left. Henderson there, 1 away. Pete Vukovic. Vukovic is a 7 batter card. That's a 7. That's in play, 77. It's going to be out range. Grounded is short. Taveras, 6-3, put out. 2 down. Lou Brock. Lou Brock's 2 for 2, single twice. Tough, 62. Grounded is short again. Taveras fires the first, gets Brock by half a step. Brock can really motor down that line. Still has it at age 40. Pete Vukovic against John Stearns. Stearns is 0 for 1 with a fly out. That's an 8. That's tough, 21. That's going to be a strikeout. Stearns goes after the high heat. 1 down. Doug Flynn. Tough, 97. That's a fly ball to left. Lou Brock for the second out. And it's Mike Scott. Mike Scott's a 1, so nothing should happen here. In play, 20. It's going to be a pop-up. That's behind the plate. Simmons. He's got it. So we go to the top of the 6th inning. 1-0. Cardinals leading it. Mike Scott facing Obergefell. And Mets have their bullpen going now. Looks like it's the lefty looks like Orozco and the righty is Bernard. And that's a tough 65. Grounded is short. Frankie Taveras to his left. Throws on the run. Gets Obergefell. Keith Hernandez, who's 0 for 1, flied out and walked. The pitch from Scott. And that's defense 64. Going to take a look at that. 64. That beats the no range hitting up. That's going to be an out no matter what. 4-3. Doug Flynn. Nice play. 2 down. And Ted Simmons. Ted Simmons is 0 for 2, grounded out twice. That's a 5 patient, 28. It's a base on balls. Simmons gets a 2-out walk. Not a threat to steal. Let me just double check that. You never know with these guys. No, not a threat to steal. And it's Dane Org. And that's a wheelhouse 41. Wheelhouse 41 is going to be, right outside the hit range. That's going to be a grounder comebacker to Scott. Scott feels his position, underhands it to Montanez for the out. That's coming up in the bottom half of the 6th inning. It's Henderson, Taveras, and Mazzilli against Pete Vukovic. That's an 8. Tough 0-5. That's a strikeout. Curveball got him. Henderson looked baffled. Frank Taveras with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Patient 66. It's gonna be a grounded second. 4-3. Put out. And Mazzilli. Oh, where did that go? Jesus. It's a 9. In play, 50. And that's going to be popped up left side. Phillips. 3rd out. We go to the top half of the 7th. Mike Scott against Tony Scott. The battle of the Scotts. In play, 0-7. It's going to be a triple. Tony Scott lines it into the corner, and it rolls or rattles around out there. Youngblood has trouble locating it. Around second goes Scott into third standing, and Scott has a leadoff triple here. Not good news for the Mets. And we're going to double check that. We rolled a 6. That's in play. An in play 0-7. It's going to be a triple right there. All right, in a game like this, you got to double check all those details, especially in a game like this, because any mistake can mean the ball game. So now the Mets are going to have to bring the infield in. The Mets have both Orozco and Bernard. Now it's Murray. Looks like it's Murray. And in the warming up, and the Cardinals have their bullpen going. Although Vukovic did have 9 complete games. Okay, so infield's going to be in. We're going to pull that card. Pull that. Hey, man. Who's that? Jerry. Hey there. Well, I've been sleeping all day. Sleeping and eating. And now I went out on my bike for a while, and now I'm playing the game. So, okay, so here we go. Our bases are not loaded. See what happens with that. The Mets are forced to play the infield in here with a down 1-0 to the Cards here in the top of the 7th inning. Tony Scott has just tripled to lead off the inning against Mike Scott. So Tony Scott won the battle of the Scotts, and it's Ken Reitz. So the Mets don't want this run to score. They're going to do everything they can to avoid it. It's patient 97. A patient 97 takes us to the out range. That's going to be a fly to left. And patient means that the runner on third may attempt to score. So Tony Scott is speedy, to say the least. He's a 7 runner. And Henderson in left, it doesn't have the greatest arm. So we're going to try to score here. He's a 7, so we need a 7 or less for Tony Scott to score this important insurance run. So we're going to roll here, 7 or less. Now, anything more than 7 is Henderson throws him out at the plate. And that's doubtful for that to happen. Let's see what happens here. He's 7. Oh, 7. So he's safe at home. So it's a fly ball, sacrifice fly to left. And it's 2-0 Cardinals right now. Okay, so Ken Reitz. It's a sacrifice fly, scoring Tony Scott, and it's 2-0 Cardinals here in the top of the 7th inning. It's Mike Phillips, 8th place batter, shortstop for the Cardinals. And it's a 6 in play 31. It's going to be out range. That's popped up right side. Flynn, 2 down. And Pete Vukovic, and he's going to bat. He's pitching a 3-hitter against the Mets, so why pull him? A 6 in play 64. He is a 7, so in play 64. That's way out. It's going to be lined and caught by Doug Flynn at second. So that retires the side. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Mets need to get their offense going here. It's going to be Richie Hebner leading it off, and Hebner's the right guy to get it going because he is 2 for 2 today, 2 singles off of Vukovic. He's got 2 of the 3 Mets hits, and he's going to be the pitch from Vukovic. That's 8, tough 45. A tough 45 is a base hit single, so Hebner's 3 for 3. And it's Willie Montanez who's 0 for 2, left-handed batter, first baseman for the Mets. He's flied out twice. Here's the pitch from Vukovic. And that's a 6. That's in play 18. In play 18 is going to be opposite field liner to left field. Runner advances 1 base. So first and second now. And the Mets have something going here. Joel Youngblood, right-hander. He's actually an A bunter, so he's going to bunt these guys over. Then we're going to have Stearns and Flynn to try to drive him in or at least score 1 run. And that's going to be, he's an A bunter, and that's a successful sacrifice. Back to the pitcher. Throws to Oberkfell covering. Both runners advance. And the crowd here at Shea appreciates that effort. Both runners advance. So it's second and third now. Tying runners at second base in Willie Montanez. And you know what? We're going to get a pinch runner for Montanez. We got to look for a first baseman. And we got Ed Kranepool. Let's see. We have Beauclair, who does all sorts of things. He also plays first. Okay. So actually, we're going to bring in Beauclair to run for Montanez. Let's see if that'll work. So Beauclair is going out there. He's a much speedier runner. Not necessarily speedier, just a better base runner. Because the actual qualities here, the numbers, are not representative of speed, but of actual base running ability, run scoring ability, that sort of thing. So it's second. We're going to have a pinch runner, and it's going to be Beauclair. And he's going to replace Montanez at first. All right, so it's Pete Vukovich with runners on second and third. The tying run is at second base, and Bruce Beauclair. Richie Hebner takes his lead off third. There's one out. We are in the bottom of the seventh. It's 2-0 Cards. So this is a big batter right here for Pete Vukovich to get. So you want to strike out if you can. So here goes. And that's a 9. That's going to be in play 68. In play 68. And we're looking at a grounder to second base. Hebner not going to score on that. Hebner is not going to score on that grounder to second base, even though the infield's back. Hit too hard. And we're going to look at the runner advancement chart just to quickly ground out. Runner on second may advance to third. Runner on third with a run rating of 7 or more scores. Okay, so it's going to be a ground out to second, and everybody holds. So Stearns does not get the job done, does not get the run in, and it's not going to be Doug Flynn. Now, Doug Flynn is one of the best clutch players the Mets have throughout the season. I mean, in 100-some at-bats, he has 22 RBIs, so you times that by 5, and he's actually, headed towards a 100 RBI season, which is hilarious. So now, if the Mets, if the Cards walk Flynn, which I don't think they're going to do, would bring up the pitcher, and then you just get Elliot Maddox, who's actually a 300 hitter. So you'd probably rather face a 236 hitter in Doug Flynn. So I'm gonna let Flynn bat and see what happens. That's a 7. That's a tough 58. It's not going to happen here. And that's going to be sky to right. Dane Org, a few steps back, and makes the catch. Side is retired. Mets failed to capitalize on that the tying run at second base with only one out. And the score is still 2-0 going to the top of the 8th. St. Louis. Mike Scott. Lou Brock. Lou Brock's 2 for 3 today. Pitch from Scott, that's patient, 61. Outrange, grounded to short. Taveras fires to first. Gets Brock by a step. Brock still can motor at the age of 40. And it's Ken Oberkfell. He's 0 for 3 today against Mike Scott. Oh, Jesus. Wow. All right. And that's a 10. That's in play. 59 in play. He was safe. Okay. Anytime I'm around kids and I see a kid fall, I'm always like, okay, safe. And they start laughing. All right. In play, 59. That's going to be outrange. That's Sky to left, Henderson. And that's out number 2. And it's Keith Hernandez. He's 0 for 2. He's walked, flied out, and struck out. Hey, man. How are you guys? Yeah, actually he's flat out grounded out and walked. No strikeouts for Hernandez. Here's the pitch from Scott. That's 6. In play. 0-4. That's a base hit. That's going to be more than a base hit. Rounding first is Hernandez, and he's going for 2. And here's a throw, and he's safe. 2-out double for Keith Hernandez. Caught everybody by surprise. Turned down the Jets around first base. Looked like it was a single for sure, and all of a sudden just took off for second base, and the throw just missed him. So it's a 2-out double. Ted Simmons, switch hitter, and we're going to bring in a relief pitcher. 2-0 Cardinals in the top of the 8th. 2 outs. Keith Hernandez at second, just doubled. And we're going to bring in Murray, Dale Murray. All right, here's the pitch to Simmons. And that's a 7. Tough 60s outrange. Grounded to second. Flynn, 4-3. And that retires the side. So we're going to see a pinch hitter for the Mets here in the bottom of the 8th. And it's going to be Flores, Gil Flores. Here's the pitch to Gil Flores. Flores was batted 200 against righties, but you wouldn't know that during the course of the season. So he actually played in this game. Just finished shoveling snow. So Gil Flores, let's write him in here quickly. And he's pinch hitting for Murray, the reliever. And nobody out. Bottom of the 8th, 2-0 Cardinals. Mets have 2 more opportunities. 6 outs left in this game to try to tie it up, or at least tie it up. Let's see. Here's the pitch from Vukovic. That's patient, 97. That's outrange, no doubt about that. Sky to left, Lou Brock at age 40, making it look easy. Henderson 0 for 3 today. He's up. He batted 260 versus right-handers. Tough 82. That's Sky to center. Tony Scott. 2 down. And Frank Taveras. Tough 58. And that's fly to right. Dane Org. A couple of steps to his right. Makes the catch. And that retires the side. We go to the top half of the 9th inning. That's going to have a new pitcher. It's going to be Dane Org. That's going to bring in Neil Allen. Allen was 6-10 with a 3.55 ERA. We're using actual lineups, so these guys actually played in this game. And Allen is going to be put into the 9th spot, even though he'll never get a chance to bat. I doubt that he'll bat. All right, so it's Dane Org against Neil Allen. Pitch from Allen. In play, 74. And that's going to be lined shortstop. Taveras snags it. Tony Scott. He's 2 for 3, singled and tripled. And that's a 5. In play, 29. And that's just right outside the hit range. In play, 29, right outside the hit range by 1. And that's lined, caught by Doug Flynn. 2 outs. 2 line outs. And it's Ken Reitz, who's 0 for 2. He's hit a sacrifice fly. He's got an RBI today. And that's an in-play 42. Grounded to first. Bruce Beauclair takes it himself. 3 up, 3 down for Neil Allen. And we go to the Mets' last licks here at Shea. Pete Vukovich is going for the complete game. Now, he would complete 1 out of every 3 games, so we're going to let him try to get the complete game here. That's why I play 70s ball, to be able to do that every so often, right? And that's an 8. That's a tough 82. Sky to center. Scott squeezes it. Richie Hebner, who's 3 for 3. That's an 8. That's tough. 73. A tough 73 outrange. And that's fly to Tony Scott as well. 2 down. And the Mets are down to their last out. It's Bruce Beauclair. Beauclair was a pinch runner earlier in the game for Willie Montanez. And that's a 3 in play, 79. That's going to be the ball game. That's going to be flight out, center field, Tony Scott. And that's all she wrote. Mets lose it. I'll run by the data. Line scores: Cardinals 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors, 5 left on base. Mets get shut out, 0 runs, 5 hits, no errors, and 5 left on base. So Pete Vukovich dominates the Mets, and basically puts their offense down for the count. And he goes a complete game. And we're going to write him in as the winner of the game. Loser of the game is going to be Mike Scott, who pitched well. But Mets couldn't get anything going, any kind of support for him. And that's all she wrote. It's a 2-game set versus St. Louis. So we're going to take a break. And we're going to set up the next game. Cards at Mets here at Shea. And we'll come back on in a little while. And we'll play another game in our 79 replay. I hope everybody's well. Thanks for stopping by. And I hope to see you guys later. And that's all she wrote. Final score, St. Louis 2,